November 24th, 1971. High above the American skies at an altitude of 10,000 feet. A story was being written that would keep the world's most powerful intelligence agency, the FBI, awake for the next 50 years. A man with a briefcase in his hand, 2 parachutes on his shoulders, and $200,000 in cash leaps out of a moving flight into the pitch-black, freezing night. No screams, no chaos, and to this day, no body has ever been found. Did he survive? Or did he perish in that dense wilderness? This remains the only unsolved commercial airline hijacking in American history. Who was this mastermind? Let's travel back to where this shocking mystery began. Our story begins at Portland International Airport. It was the 1970s, an era when airport security as we know it today simply did not exist. There were no metal detectors, and identity verification was barely checked. Passengers simply walked up, bought a ticket, and boarded the plane. Walking through this crowd was a man dressed in a dark suit, white shirt, black tie, and dark sunglasses. He looked like an ordinary corporate businessman. He walked up to the counter and gave his name as Dan Cooper. Cooper purchased a one-way ticket for Flight 305, a short 45-minute domestic trip to Seattle. Upon boarding, he took his seat at the very back of the aircraft, seat 18E. Before departure, he calmly ordered a drink and lit a cigarette, a perfectly normal sight back then, as smoking was fully permitted on flights. At exactly 2:58 p.m., the flight took off. No one on board had any idea that the fate of this aircraft was about to change forever. Once the flight was airborne, Cooper caught the attention of flight attendant Florence Schaffner. He smiled and handed her a small folded note. Assuming it was just another wealthy passenger leaving his phone number, Florence slipped the note directly into her pocket without reading it. Leaning closer, Cooper whispered in a calm tone, "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb." Stunned, Florence opened the paper. Written in clear capital letters were the words, "I have a bomb in my briefcase. Sit next to me." She quietly sat down beside him. Cooper opened his briefcase just enough for her to look inside. Florence saw 8 red cylinders attached to wires and a large battery. Cooper was not a frantic amateur. He was incredibly calm and calculated. He laid out his demands: $200,000 in negotiable, unmarked $20 bills. 4 parachutes in total, 2 main and 2 reserve. A refueling truck ready on the tarmac upon arrival in Seattle. He made it clear that if his terms were not met, he would detonate the device, destroying the entire aircraft instantly. Florence immediately took the demands to the cockpit. Flight Captain William Scott contacted airline management and the FBI. Realizing the danger, authorities decided they would comply fully with all of Cooper's demands to protect the lives on board. Meanwhile, the other 35 passengers remained completely oblivious. They were told the landing was delayed due to a minor mechanical issue. The plane circled the Seattle area for nearly an hour and a half while preparations were made on the ground. On the ground, the FBI scrambled to gather 10,000 $20 bills from a local bank. Unbeknownst to Cooper, agents microfilmed every single note, recording their serial numbers so the cash could be tracked instantly if spent. They also secured 4 parachutes from a local skydiving school. At 5:45 p.m., the aircraft touched down. As promised, the cash and parachutes were delivered to Cooper. In return, Cooper honored his word, releasing all 35 passengers and Florence. Only the pilot, co-pilot, a flight engineer, and flight attendant Tina Mucklow remained on board. Under the cover of darkness, the plane took off once again. Cooper gave the cockpit highly specific flight parameters: maintain a low altitude of exactly 10,000 feet. Keep the airspeed at a minimum of 150 knots, around 320 km/h. Leave the cabin unpressurized and keep the aft stairs lowered. Two F-106 fighter jets shadowed the airliner from above and below, but the blinding rain and slow airspeed made it nearly impossible to spot anything in the dark. Around 8 p.m., Cooper ordered Tina to go into the cockpit and close the curtain. As she turned away, she caught her last glimpse of him wrapping something around his waist. At 8:13 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit, indicating the tail stairs had been extended. The pilot called over the intercom, asking if he needed assistance. Cooper's final words were a simple, cold no. In sub-zero temperatures, facing a 200-mile-per-hour wind blast, Dan Cooper stepped off the stairs and vanished into the storm over the dense forests of southwestern Washington. When the plane finally landed safely in Reno, Nevada, heavily armed agents swarmed the cabin. Cooper was gone. What followed was one of the most extensive search operations in U.S. history. Thousands of acres of rugged wilderness were combed, but no trace of Cooper, his parachutes, or the money bags could be found. The only items left behind were a black clip-on tie and 8 cigarette butts. Over the next decade, none of the recorded serial numbers ever appeared in circulation anywhere in the world. It seemed as though Cooper had died in the jump, or managed to slip away completely unnoticed. Then, 9 years later, a stunning discovery changed everything. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy vacationing with his family on a riverbank known as Tina Bar, just north of Portland, uncovered 3 degraded bundles of cash buried in the sand. When the FBI verified the bills, the results shocked the investigators. The serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money exactly. A total of $5,800 was recovered. But where was the rest of the $194,200? The discovery raised far more questions than answers. Many aviation experts believe Cooper was an experienced military veteran or a highly trained skydiver due to his intimate knowledge of the Boeing 727's unique features. In 2016, after 45 years of dead ends, the FBI officially suspended its active investigation. Who was Dan Cooper? Did he survive that fateful jump, or does his body lie hidden deep in the wilderness? The answer remains lost to the storm. What do you think happened to him? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more extraordinary mysteries. Until next time.